Chelsey.
And I'm Sammy, and this is
Deepish.
Hi, guys.
We have an amazing guest on today.
We have Melanie Devore on the podcast. She is the owner of One Love Babe.
Women's clothing boutique.
Mm-hmm.
So cute. Literally obsessed. She is an amazing businesswoman. She's a mom of 3. Her and her husband really tag team One Love Babe, and she just went all in. And it was so cool hearing her journey, her story, her advice.
Mm-hmm. She gave the best advice.
Yeah, we were just like, okay, yes.
It makes you feel like you can do anything.
Yes, it was really just follow your dreams and work hard. The harder you work, the closer you are to your dreams.
No, and I feel like she works really hard at everything she does, including just enjoying life and having fun. And she talks a lot about her health and fitness and where she's come with that, prioritizing motherhood and her decisions around breast cancer awareness and her mastectomy and a lot of really interesting things that she talks about that we haven't talked about before.
Yes, I know. And her story was very original to what we've had on the podcast, but also so universally you can really take it on and apply it to your life.
Yeah. And it's so cool to hear. Like, I've never sat down and talked to someone who has been as successful as she has at building something literally from scratch, providing for her family and creating this whole empire.
Yeah, we were just talking even afterwards. She started this with $300 in her pocket, has never taken a loan out for the business.
Yeah.
And it's humongous.
But yeah, it was so fun to sit down with Melanie. She's the cutest. You guys have to go follow her and follow her journey with her health, her business, and all of the exciting things that One Love Babe will come to see.
Yes. And we hope you guys enjoy.
And here's Melanie. Melanie, welcome to Deepish.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
We're so happy to have you here. I know Melanie. We used to work together at a doctor's office years ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
And since then, you have accomplished so much. And I love seeing everything that you've done with your life. But why don't we rewind and start from the beginning, do a little intro to you for those who don't know you.
Perfect.
So where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Orem, just 10 minutes from here, went to Timpanogos High School.
What were you like as a kid?
I like to think I was a really just obedient, level-headed child. I never really got in trouble. I was really into sports. I was super competitive and
What sports did you play?
Basically all of them. Soccer, basketball, volleyball. I had a lot of siblings, so whatever everyone was doing, I would jump in and do that. It was pretty good in school. I had a 4.0. I like to think that was part of my upbringing into entrepreneurship. I just have always been a go-getter and just self-motivated.
It's so funny that you say that because I remember so many of my memories with you of like, we're having a no-spend week. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm like going to run every single day and do that. Just always these little challenges for yourself. And I just remember you always being, and I told Chelsey this, I'm like, she has this motivation that is just so unique to you.
I know. And literally every day I tell my husband, I'm like, why am I like this? Because sometimes it's annoying. I don't want to be so obsessed with certain things, but that's just how I am. And I feel like it's benefited me in some ways.
But it's gotten you far.
So would you say you're very type A?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like OCD tendencies as well?
Okay.
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah, sadly. But in a good way.
Well,
with my
you're
house, I feel like I have to have a clean house and I'm not the type that can have a dirty house and go play with kids. I have to have a clean house and then I can relax and go play. And
so are you like a reset at the end of the night?
Yes.
Your kids are in bed now. Let's reset.
Yeah.
I try. I literally try.
Don't get me wrong. It depends on the day. Some days I'm like, no. But for the most part, I'm a much happier person.
Is your husband like that too?
No. Yeah.
He's like very like go with the flow.
He's very chill. Yeah. He's a very just relaxed, chill, easygoing, sweetest man ever. So
I love that.
yeah.
So when you graduated from high school, did you have any ideas, I guess, even during high school or growing up, what you wanted to do when you grew up or what you wanted to be, what you wanted your life to look like?
You know, what's funny, I was actually telling Chad this today. All growing up, for some reason, I always just was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. And I actually told someone in my family that one day. I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And they actually told me I couldn't do it.
Really?
And I always thought that was shocking because I was like, oh, that's such a weird thing to tell an 8th grader.
They were just like, you
Because
That's
I
too
told him,
hard.
I was like, I'm going to go to college, but I think it'd be fun to maybe go into like entrepreneurship or something like that. And they're like, well, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you don't go to school for that. You just do it. And I was like, what
Whoa.
a weird piece of advice to tell someone, especially an 8th grader. That really stuck with me. And I just brushed it aside. I had toyed with the idea of going to hair school, maybe going to dental assisting. I ended up going to UVU and just doing my associates. And within that time period, I was like, you know what? I'm going to just start my own thing and go with it.
That's so interesting that you wanted to do that. So
Yeah.
what does that family member think now? Are you just
You're
like,
like, suck it.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, well,
What did your parents do?
growing up. So my dad worked for Word Perfect. If you
Okay.
guys know what that is. Also worked for Novell and then transitioned over to the LDS Church. And then he's now retired. And then my mom was just a stay-at-home mom.
So what sparked that interest for entrepreneurship? Did you ever see anyone or hear? Because that's a very traditional, your career
In a
is
normal like 8 to 5. And that's what's funny is I felt like I wasn't surrounded by anyone from business. So to be honest, I don't know why that sparked.
So you meet Chad. How did you and Chad meet?
So we just met in our singles ward. We had both moved out, went to UVU, moved home for the summer. Our parents actually live right by each other. They're like less than a half a mile away from each other. So when we moved back home, we were both in the same singles ward and then just met through mutual friends.
So growing up, did you know him or they
No.
had moved like after you?
No, they actually still live up there right by each other, which is so convenient when we go
That's
to
so
like
nice.
family events. But he's 5 years older, so
You guys
we
just
didn't
missed
go in
each
the
other.
same- Yeah.
But did you
Yeah.
know his parents? Were they in your ward or anything?
No. We were in the same ward when we first moved there, and then the boundaries
Split.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't know him at all, but I'm like, it was meant to be.
Cute.
Yeah.
So then how old were you when you got married?
I was 20.
20.
Oh my
And then-
gosh, so young.
So
But did you feel young?
You know, it just felt right. Obviously, I did feel young, but I definitely don't regret it. And
Yeah, it's like what you do.
yeah, looking back, we say how much it just worked for us because we were able to start our life together. We were so young and we've just grown and built our life together versus being older and then making our relationship work in our careers or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
because there is a benefit to that. And it can be hard as well, but you're kind of learning who you are, learning how to communicate your
Yeah,
relationship,
for
everything
sure.
simultaneously. But it is you're creating a life
Yeah.
from the very start.
Yep.
And
For
there's
sure.
something really beautiful about that because now everything that you have, you built
Yep.
together.
Yeah.
Did your parents get married young?
Yes, I think my mom was 19. Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
normal.
And honestly, all my siblings, for the most part, were married young. And I feel like just Utah culture in general, that's what you do, you know?
It's normal.
Yeah.
Met someone. Let's
Okay,
go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have?
7.
Whoa,
Yeah.
where do you fall?
I'm 6 out of 7.
Are the stereotypes of that order true? Kind of baby of the family, spoiled, your parents are just
for the
super
most part.
chill.
Yeah. Yeah. At least that's what my older siblings say.
They're like, oh my gosh,
They're like, "Ugh,
you get
gotta
away
go
with
on
everything.
all these extra trips that we never went on and all that. But
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
yeah.
So you and Chad get married. How long until you guys had your first baby?
Let's see, 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So you
I was
were
22.
22 when you
Yeah.
had Duke, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of where we left off. And
Yeah.
you had, at that time, quit your job. We're going to be a stay-at-home mom with your baby. I remember you were like buying pearls or something and reselling
Yes.
them for more
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And always had that knack in you
Yeah.
to grind
Yeah.
or make money. So I have always been so curious how that transition from
sure.
when you had your first baby, when you were experimenting with those type of things, and then building One Love Babe.
Yeah. So Chad was working in the supplement business. He had a 9-to-5 job. And I don't know what sparked it, but we both were just hustling basically for money. Like, what can we do to earn extra cash? And so how it started, Chad would find, this was back when eBay was bigger and Facebook, especially Facebook. And he would find things that were selling fast on eBay, and then we would buy it from China and then just resell it.
Yeah.
And it sounds silly, but we were actually making decent money, especially as newlyweds. Like That's how we bought our piano, which to this day we still have. It's like our pride. We're like, we bought that piano from
eBay.
Selling random stuff from China.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another. And then I had just had Duke. And I was like, how fun would that be to get into baby moccasins? Because at the time, baby moccasins were huge. And I was like, I could go and undercut all of them and just sell directly through Facebook. So that's what I did. I think I bought them for $2 and they were real leather.
I forget that it started with the moccasins.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was just moccasins at first.
Just moccasins.
Okay.
Yeah. So all I would do is just post them on Facebook, like those Facebook yard sale sites. You know, it's like Orem yard sale or whatever.
Was Facebook Marketplace a thing yet?
No.
It was
no.
just
it was
those
just like
Provo
those
indoor yard sale. Yeah.
Yeah, so I literally went and joined every single one, and then I just posted, and I think I sold them for $10. So I was having pretty decent margins considering I was buying them for $2, selling them for $10. I didn't have to ship them, and people would just come to my house and buy them, and then I actually got hooked up with the girl that owns Kid to Kid, and I ended up getting into Kid to Kid, and that was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in a store.
But it was marketing as One Love Babe at that point.
I mean, I technically didn't really have a name for it at this point, but yes, that was
But at
basically
Kid
the
to
start
Kid,
of it.
was it your own little booth or?
Yeah, not even my own little booth. They just put them up on the wall.
Okay.
And then she would just come and restock. But then it got to a point where I was like, I should actually name this company. And so I went to my husband. I was like, what should we name this? I feel like that's the hardest part, is coming up with a creative name. And we had just had Duke, and he's like, well, Duke is One Loved Babe. That could be cute. And I was like,
Wait, did you make?
that?
He was saying like he's
One,
loved.
yeah, he's One Loved Babe. And I was like,
Cute.
okay, I actually kind of like that. Let's do it. And I was actually going through my photos the other day, and I found my very first mock-up. I had a Cricut, like a silhouette printer, and I used to print these little tags that said One Love Babe, and it was my very first logo. And I'm like, I can never lose this picture because it's like the very first thing I came up with. So yeah, that was how One Love Babe started. And then fast forward a couple months or so, I was like, you know what? I'm just not really feeling this anymore. I feel like it's not really going to go anywhere. And so I actually had $300 cash, which I was so proud of, just for moccasins. I kept it separate. It was like a stack. Okay, what do I do with this cash? I don't want to just go put it into savings. I want to do something with it.
I love this grit from the
Yeah.
very beginning where you're
Yeah.
just like, okay, how
Let's
can
go.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, question. When you were growing up, were you like lemonade stands, babysitting, like that kind of?
Babysitting for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't really the type to sell stuff, but I definitely did a lot of babysitting.
Okay.
But other than that, I didn't work. I didn't, which is so funny that as an adult, I'm like, okay, let's go. But I think
Yeah.
having a kid, it kind of changed my perspective. Like,
Yeah.
okay, now let's make money. Let's build our life, essentially.
And finding all of these creative ways of like,
Yeah.
how could I earn a little extra income?
Yeah.
Because if like with the eBay thing, you got a taste of that,
For
and then
sure.
you're like, okay, what else can we do
Yeah.
to?
We got experience with shipping. So that definitely helped because we would ship everything through eBay. We did all the customer service. We literally did everything because it was just us two.
But Chad was
So-
working it as well at this
Yeah.
time. You had your baby and then you were just doing moccasins and this.
Just stay at home. Basically, I was just a bored mom. Like, babies sleep so much. And I'm like, okay, what do I do with myself? I'm just home.
Yeah.
Like, and at the time, social media wasn't big. I feel like nowadays, everyone just spends their time on their phones. But for me, I was just like, what do I do? I was a very crafty type. I would sit and make crafts, but I was just like, I need something to bring in money.
More. Okay, so you
Yeah.
had your $300.
$300.
What'd you do with it?
It's so funny because honestly, everything just happened at the right time. So about that time, obviously I had a postpartum body and I was like, I need new clothes. And so I was buying a lot online just from other small boutiques. And I really just hated how they fit me. I'd get them and I'd just be so disappointed and be like, ugh, I just feel so frumpy. I need something better. And at the same time, I had gotten added on to this Facebook group, because Facebook was huge, of this clothing boutique, this really small girl that was doing a giveaway. Someone had tagged me in it. And so I went and I was like, what is this? And I started scrolling and went and stalked her site, stalked her Instagram, stalked all the things. And I was just like, she has 11,000 followers and those clothes aren't even cute.
Yeah.
probably sounds mean, but at the time I was just like, I feel like I could do better. Like
Yes.
I'm such a competitive person that I was like, I think I could do it. I've always been a big shopper and I feel like I have a good sense of style. I went to my husband and I was like, hey, I'm going to start my own boutique. And he's like, what? I was like, I think I can do it. I'm going to just do it. I have $300. I just want to do it. And he's like, all right. What you should do is just buy the clothing you like, keep one of everything, build your wardrobe off of the wholesale, and then sell whatever's left. And then you have the wardrobe you want, and then you're making extra money. And I was like, okay,
It's like best of both worlds.
And the funny thing about it is, keep in mind, I have no experience with business. Like besides our little eBay hustle.
Yeah.
Like website, all of that, finding manufacturers, finding.
So how did you
everything.
educate yourself on that? Were you just watching YouTube videos, or
I just
ChatGPT wasn't a thing?
I know. Yeah. So basically I would put Duke to bed and just sit and research. I had my laptop and I just researched. And I swear to this day I had carpal tunnel because my laptop, I would just sit and scroll until I found it all. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I had the $300, which only bought me, I think, 4 styles. So when
But you got a bundle of those.
Yeah. So
styles.
when you buy wholesale, you have to buy in packs. And so I just bought the minimum pack, which is like 6 pieces.
Okay, so you had 4. I was
So you got 2 smalls, 3 mediums.
Yeah, it's usually like 2, 2, 2. So 2 small, 2 medium, 2 large. And I was like, okay, I'll just keep one and sell the rest. And
did you love them? Do you remember them still?
I do remember.
Do you have any of the original pieces that you bought?
I don't.
Oh, you should have kept at least one dress or something.
I really should have.
But you were so stoked. You're like, okay, let's do this.
And what's funny, because going back and looking back at it, I was just so naive. I didn't know what I was doing, but just threw myself into it. Yeah. Versus if I were to start a business now, it'd be totally different.
Yeah, which almost makes it better because you had no idea the magic you were about to create and you're just having fun with it.
And it was all just creativity. Like it just kept my mind just, there was this thrill of just, oh my gosh, this is all mine. I can make it however I want. Mm-hmm. And what's really funny with that is obviously I needed a website. And so I told Chad, I was like, hey, I need a website. And he's like, oh, I'll just build you one. So he full on coded one. Which
because there wasn't like a Squarespace or a.
Well, I didn't know about that at the time.
Okay.
So at the time, he's just like, I'll code you one. And
okay, code you one. He's just puts his glasses on.
He's so cute because he showed it to me and I was like, oh, you're so cute. You just spent forever making this actual site. But I was like,
it's ugly,
but it could be better. I was like, there has to be something better. So that's when I found Shopify. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I just went down a deep rabbit hole on that. I think I was on the phone with Shopify so many times a day, just being like, help me, teach me. How do I do this? Because I don't know if you're familiar with Shopify, but there's so many, and especially now that's changed so much. But yeah, basically I just taught myself and obviously with their help and built the site.
Did you create an LLC at that point and figure out how to do all of that?
Yeah. So actually back to the moccasins, I think we put them on Amazon actually. And so we started an LLC for One Loved Babe to put them on Amazon. And when I decided to transition, I was like, what do I make the name? That's so annoying. And Chad's like, just keep it One Love Babe. It's already registered with the state. And I was like, but doesn't that seem like a baby name? And he's like, no, it totally applies. Just keep it. It's cool.
Yeah, because like, you're a babe.
Yeah. And honestly, like at that time, I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. We just need it to be legal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's fine.
So you'd already done that prior. And so then the website and everything, you registered that domain or whatever. And
So I already had everything all registered from the moccasins.
And that's already in itself, creating an LLC. You don't know how to do any of that.
Yeah. And what I always think is kind of cool, and this shows how driven I was at the time, from the day that I decided to do clothing, within 30 days, I had it launched.
Amazing.
So
that's amazing. Like bought the clothing,
website. Built the website, and all by myself while raising Duke. So literally I'd be up till 3 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'll play with you during the day, but then at night I'm just going to stay up. I can go with no sleep and I'll just pound it out.
And so you photographed yourself in the clothes.
Yes. So I was actually the model for the first probably year or so. And Chad was the photographer.
Amazing. Yeah, and then you would list them. Okay. So then launch day?
Launch day.
What did you do?
So
Create
nervous.
an Instagram, a Facebook?
Yes, all the things.
Okay.
And then honestly, I wish I could go back and just remember exactly how I was feeling. But I remember I launched it because it was 9 years ago, which is crazy. We just actually had our anniversary last week.
Gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, launched it. And my aunt was actually my first customer, which I was like, oh my gosh, the support. That's so cute.
So you get that like, ding,
yes.
and you're just like,
I was like, someone bought for me. I literally had 4 items on my site. And at that point when I launched it, it was just the manufacturer pictures. It wasn't even me at that time. So it was just so ghetto and probably looked like it was fake. I don't even know. And my logo was so ghetto, but
hey, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
30 days.
Yeah.
Just whipped it out.
Yeah. I was like, we just got to get it going. I just want to go.
So then throughout the next couple of days or that day, did you sell enough where you're like, oh, I can restock? Or how did that?
It was very slow. I think my Instagram had maybe 100 followers, if that. It was mainly just family and friends. Because Instagram wasn't how it is now.
Totally.
But I was actually surprised I got a few orders and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is so cool. But yeah, very slow at the beginning.
And then what's your next step? Are you like, okay, how do I monetize this? How do I grow this?
Yeah. So after that, I basically decided to just get into influencers. And so I teamed up with a local influencer. I think she had 200,000 followers or whatever. And I was like, I can't believe you're even going to work with me. I'm no one. It's fine.
So you reached out to her and she was just like, sure. Or
Yeah.
how?
I think we just traded too, which is amazing. Yeah.
You're like, I'll give you these clothes if you post in
yeah.
them.
Yeah. So she posted and that boosted my following, just a simple tag. Because I feel like back then working with influencers was so beneficial. Like now
Such
I
a
feel
game
like,
changer.
Now I feel like it's hit or miss. Like I feel so many people do it.
Promoting so much that
Yeah.
it's not as much like, oh, that's exactly where you got it from and I'm going to go buy it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back then it was just like money. It was just amazing.
Well, and
Helped
at
me a
this
lot.
time, you're getting in at like this sweet spot. When you first got in, people were like, boutiques are everything. They have like unique
Craving.
things. And
Yeah.
I feel like it was the sweet spot.
Yeah. And what's funny, at that time, MLMs were huge. So like Agnes and Dora and so many MLMs. And I remember when I first launched it, people were like, so are you an MLM? And I'm like, no, it's my own store.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that was so shocking to people that I started it.
Buying these products and selling them. Yeah. Creating
And I would
them.
always get so annoyed. I'm like, no, this is mine. No one's
Above
below
me.
or above me. This is mine.
Yeah.
So-
And I think too, 9 years ago, you're probably one of the first
Yeah.
real women's clothing boutiques.
Yeah, there were a few others that are still around that obviously they were probably smaller too, but there wasn't as many as there are now. Like it was just the right time.
Yes, exactly. So you are hooking up with some influencers, getting your following up. Was there a point where you're like, oh, this is working?
Yes. Yeah. So one thing that I did when we first started, which I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I would spend so much time on Instagram just following people. I would go to like my competitors and just like follow their followers. And I felt like people then would come check out my site and I would be undercutting everyone. And people would be like, oh, you have the same stuff as other people, but way cheaper. Because I was the only person at the time. I was like, it's not really about making money. Like I'm just trying to build my platform.
Because you would have a similar dress as a different boutique, but sell it for less.
Yeah.
Where your prices were really affordable.
Yeah.
And that was your strategy there.
Yeah. I was like, even if I just break even, I just want to make customers happy so I can build my customer base and then grow from there.
Become their go-to place to shop.
Yep.
And all of this is just intuition.
Yeah.
Did you have any advice you were getting or any, because now you can just TikTok advice on literally anything. And
Yeah.
there's people that have so much experience, but you're
Yeah.
just, you know what? I'm going to build my platform first and then go
Yeah.
up from there.
Yeah, exactly. It's so crazy to look back because I'm like, it was literally, I'd be like, okay, if something's not working, what can I do to make it work? If I stop growing, what can I do? I need to change. And so Chad and I were actually talking about this today. It was so interesting, like at the beginning days. Okay, what are the best days to release new arrivals? Okay, this day doesn't work. This time doesn't work. So we messed around a lot with when we would post certain product and just kind of go from there and see when we got the best feedback and traction from it.
So was Chad pretty influential and helpful from the very beginning? Were you always just like, hey, what should we do? He was your sounding board at that point?
For sure. Yes. Yeah. He's always been my man where I'm like, okay, help me. Like, we would just bounce ideas off each other.
So it was very trial and error in the beginning.
For sure. Yes.
And when do you feel like it locked in a little bit of, okay,
this is a business?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of a funny story. So we had moved into our house 2016, actually, and we turned our basement into our warehouse. It had a walkout entrance, and we're like, this will be perfect. It was unfinished, and I was still the only person at the time. Me and Chad, I did all the customer service. Obviously, we were still small at this time, and I was about to give birth to Wells, my second. And I was like, okay, I'm about to go into labor. I'm going to just stop posting, because I noticed when I post, it would generate orders. And so I was like, I'm the only person. No one can do it for me. I'm just going to stop posting.
You were getting so many orders at that point.
Not so many, but enough that I would fulfill at least a few a day. Like, it was still very small for me to manage it. And so I was like, okay, I'll just stop posting, go into the hospital, give birth. I'm literally laying in the hospital bed, and my phone was just like cha-ching, 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 just nonstop. And I turned to Chad and I'm like, what is going on? Where are all these orders coming from? You need to look into this. And so he's an analytics guy, always has been. So he gets on, looks, and he's like, they're all coming from Buzzfeed. And I'm like, Buzzfeed?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay. And so he like finds the article. To this day, I still want to find the person that wrote this article, because I have no idea how she found us, but she basically listed us as number 3 online boutique.
No.
Wow.
In like the world.
I have chills.
BuzzFeed article.
In some random BuzzFeed article that was just generating traffic. And because I was so high up on that list, it was getting so many clicks, people going to the site and then seeing our prices. They're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so obviously I was super excited, but also super overwhelmed, because I'm like,
I'm giving birth.
Literally just gave birth. I have to go home.
I need to hire help.
I know. I was like, I have to go home and fulfill all these orders while trying to heal. And I have a toddler at home. I was a little overwhelmed, but it all worked out. We went home. I called my parents and I'm like, I need help. I can't even stand. Literally just gave birth yesterday. I need help.
These orders have to get out. These people need their clothes.
Like, I have to fulfill them. So I'll still remember the day of just being in the basement, ghetto lighting, and we're just pumping out. We had hundreds of orders to fulfill, and I didn't even have that much inventory. Obviously, I had more from when I first launched, but...
Well, and then you're trying to capitalize on all of this new traffic.
Yeah.
Now we need to order new arrivals and get new stuff out there and strike it while it's hot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so stressful.
It was wild. And then around that same time, my cousin's wife had reached out. She messaged me and was like, hey, I don't know if you're looking for help, but I'd love to come help you if you need any extra hands or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. So she was my first employee, and I can't even remember how many hours she'd worked, but it was very minimal. She would just come in, fulfill orders, and then leave.
So from starting to BuzzFeed, what's that time frame?
Let's see. It was about 2 years.
Okay, 2 years, and that's when it really started.
Oh, that was when I was like, oh, this could actually become something. If we can keep all these customers coming back, then we could actually have something going.
Yeah.
Because what was the money like at that point? It was just a very side hustle,
a
little bit of money, or was it like, oh, this is really contributing to the family?
No. I didn't pay myself for years.
Really?
Yeah,
you were putting it all back
years.
into the business.
Yeah, up until recently. Everything has just been going back into the company. And I feel like that's how we've been able to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a snowball effect.
So your first employee, were you just like, okay, here's some money, or like, I don't really know how to...
I'll Venmo you $50.
I literally just paid under the table. I was like, I'll just send you, because it was PayPal at the time. I was like, I'll just PayPal you every week or whatever. And I was so ghetto. I just had like a piece of paper hung up in my basement, and I was like, just write your clock in and clock out, and then I'll just total it at the end, and then I'll send it to you.
I love that.
So what about that jump from the basement? I remember you posting about moving out of the basement, getting a warehouse. When did you know it was time? Just busting at the seams.
Yeah, busting. Honestly, like, I don't know if you saw my Instagram the other day, I posted a behind the scenes of back of the day, and literally it was time. We were just climbing over each other and boxes everywhere, and the poor mailman picking up from our house all the packages at my house. Neighbors would drive by and be like, what is she doing?
Just stacked outside your mailbox.
Black Friday. We used to like put them down in our basement entrance so they were hidden, but when that would get full, we'd put them on our porch. And I'm sure I have a picture of it somewhere, but my porch was just full of stacked boxes, just insane. People would drive by and film.
Oh, what is she doing?
And I would be paranoid that someone would come steal. So I would just hang out in my front living room, just watching until the mailman came to be like, no one can steal these packages. Yeah. These have to get to the customers.
Oh my
So then you decided to move to a warehouse.
Yes.
Is that another year later or?
Yeah, so we moved in 2019 to our first warehouse. And that was so scary because you sign a contract. And I think it was a 2-year lease, but all of a sudden we go from not paying rent to
having this big overhead cost.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, well, now we probably need to start to raise our prices because now we have to pay rent and we're going to hire more employees. And so that was definitely scary, locking in a contract.
Yeah.
But it was probably the best thing we did for the business.
Just
It definitely helped us.
jumping in fully.
Yeah, we're like, okay, we got to do it.
Yes.
We're going to make it work.
Was Chad still working at the time? Does he work or does he just work for the company?
Yeah,
or
so
what?
he worked up until 2018. And then it's funny because I was actually on a girls' trip at Disneyland and he texts me and he's like, just so you know, when you come home, I'm not going to have a job. I'm going to quit. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to step up my game. I really need to buckle down and we got to grow because now I'm the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Why did he make that decision? He was just like, I believe in this. It's growing.
Yeah, I think it was just like a combo of, obviously, I think he saw potential at that time, but also he just wasn't really happy at his job. And he's like, if anything, I could go start my own thing. And so he's like, I'm not happy. Why would I spend all my time not being happy when I could go do something else and focus on One Loved?
Yeah, and he could really like invest his time and energy into growing.
Yeah, so now he's full-time at One Loved. We're both all in.
So he just helps you on the business side with, I mean, there's so many things that go into it, I'm sure.
It's a lot.
So how do you feel like you've been able to grow and keep the longevity for so long? You guys just opened up 2 stores, one down in St. George, one in Orem. I feel like it's just getting better and better. Yeah. And over the span of 9 years, that's a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. I think it just helped that I went into something I'm obsessed with, love shopping, and I always will. And I think just finding something you're in love with and just making a business into it, I think was the best thing I could have done for myself.
And you design stuff too, right?
Yeah.
So when did that start? When did you decide to make the transition of wholesale these things and now I'm going to create some of my own pieces?
So my first design, I actually still sell it to this day, which is so funny to me because I had obviously no experience with designing clothing, but it's called the Windsor dress and it's my baby. It's been my bestseller forever. Obviously it's not, I won't be restocking it anymore just because times have changed. But basically it was back in my basement. I sat down and I was like, I feel like I could come up with a dress that works for everyone. Like breastfeeding, it has to have buttons, it has to have a flowy sleeve so it works with no matter what size your arm is, an elastic band so it can stretch, and then just flowy so it works on all body types. That was my goal, is just to reach as many people as I can. And even to this day, that's still my number one goal, is no matter what size you are, every woman deserves to feel and dress beautiful. And no matter your size, you shouldn't be limited to clothing. And so that's been my number one goal ever since starting. So that was where I came up with the Windsor dress. And the buttons, all the things. I submitted it to my manufacturer and they made a mock-up of it, sent me the sample, and I was like, it's perfect. And it was my bestseller for probably over 5-6 years. And I just kept recutting it in different colors. I'm like, okay, this color did amazing. Let's bring in a holiday color. Let's cut it in a floral print. And then we eventually brought in baby sizes of it too.
So it's like mother, daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my first step into designing. And I think just seeing how fun it was. And especially when you cut your own design, you can do plus size. So one thing that a lot of people don't realize is it's really hard to buy plus size. A lot of manufacturers don't cut the full size run up into plus. And especially now where we're at now, a lot of customers get angry if something isn't available in plus. And I'm like, trust me, if it was available in plus, I would buy it.
Yeah.
So that's why I got more into designing, because then I can control not only the quantities, but also the full size run. And I think it was last year we upped our size run. So now we go up to 6X.
Wow.
In plus. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And so are you still doing wholesale and designing?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah.
So you
It's
do a
so fun.
combo.
So all the wholesale I'll just do for more fast fashion, whatever's trending, like, okay, cheetah, leopards, bows, polka dot, gingham, all that's trending. Let's buy wholesale. And then I'll focus more on my designs of something that's more timeless, that will last, that we can keep on our shelves and advertise and have for years to come.
And throughout designing, have you just really figured it out along the way? Or was there other design inspiration or help that you had that you were like, okay, help me design this?
I would say, obviously, looking at large retails, that's how I first started to be like, okay, what kind of styles is Free People, Anthropologie, Revolve, all the big people, what are they carrying? And I would sit and just look at their sites. But now at this point, I know what sells well for One Loved. And so now I just go off my own intuition.
And just draw it out? Or how does it?
So fun. So I actually had a design meeting last week. So manufacturers will come into my warehouse, set up their clothing, and I'll buy wholesale. But then at the same time, if I see a dress that I like, I'm like, oh, I like this body, but I wish it had a different sleeve, or I wish it had a different print, just on the spot. And I do it just all in my head. Like, I'll just be like, okay, I love this body, but wait, I really like that print. So let's do this dress with this print, but let's make it a midi, or let's shorten it to a mini. And I'll just do it on the spot. And then they'll mock it up, send it to me. We'll try it on and be like, I feel like we need to add ties, or we need to add smocking or detail and all that. It's so fun. It's still just the creative aspect of it that I love. Like, it's always something I can work on, which is fun.
Wow. Do you have a team with you now?
Yes.
Do you have a design
I have
team?
a buying team, yeah.
But are you really the head decision
Yes.
maker still?
Yeah. So they'll go to market with me. We're going to market next month, and I went all last month. But they go to market, they help me with all that, and then they will input ideas of designs as well.
Do you feel like a lot of your customer base has been kind of the same demographic throughout the time that you've been in business? Or, okay, I have kind of a loyal customer. I know what sells these type of dresses, or modest dresses for LDS women, or plus size,
it's
or
definitely
new
evolved
moms
over the years. So when I first started, it was very modest, very customer based, because we used to be able to run ads directed to Mormons or certain religions.
Yeah.
And that was amazing for us. But Facebook has since changed regulations on that. So you can't target certain religions, which makes it harder to target that kind of stuff. But definitely over the years, I've realized, obviously, that's still my main priority, is offering modest clothing, because we are based in Utah, and that's what a lot of people buy. But as we've been expanding, we have been carrying more sleeveless, or, you know, a little less modest options, which makes our audience way wider. We can now sell to literally all over the world. We ship worldwide. And so it's been fun to watch, from going from just strictly modest to now all sorts of dresses. It just widens our customer base. So
how do you feel about the garment change? Are you like, like more?
Honestly,
freedom for my
I feel
business?
like I'm stoked about it, because especially with our stores, that is something we get feedback on, of like, oh, I wish you carried more modest options. Doesn't work. But now with this changing, I'm like, okay,
All these dresses will work.
this will work. So I'm excited about it.
What's your plans for the next 5-10 years? Do you have projection goals of, I want to be here, I want to do this, I want to grow bigger, better?
I mean, obviously just keep growing. I feel like my biggest goal was to open a store, and we decided to go all out and do 2 at once, which was psycho, because I also had a newborn at the same time.
We would not expect any different from
I
you.
know. I'm like, what else is new? It's how I roll. So that was my first goal. So now that I've hit that, and we're just learning all about that. We've only been open for a year, so I'm still learning. I obviously don't want to try and grow too fast, because that kind of scares me. I want to make sure we have everything under control and really know what we're doing. And then obviously just keep growing, open more stores. I'd love to expand outside of Utah. That's my goal. Eventually into Idaho, Arizona. Those are our top states.
Yeah.
Texas, honestly, anywhere. We were even looking at Nashville, all sorts of things.
It would do so
We'd
great.
go anywhere.
What's been your experience with the stores? Has it been everything you were expecting and hoping for? Or is it like, this is so much work?
Well, it was really hard opening them because it was all on me. Everything, all the decisions, all the designs, from the fixtures to the hangers to I customed every single rack.
Which paid off because they're beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, have you seen their stores?
No, I
They're
haven't seen them.
You need to
I
go
need to
check it
go.
out.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like I go in there now and I'm like, I can't believe I've already forgot how much work it is
Yeah.
to do it, down to just every detail.
Even just the displays you do and stuff where you're like, I just cut out all of these snowflakes or
I know.
whatever.
Yeah,
Just
it's-
last minute.
It's a lot, but it keeps me going. I just love the creative outlet. And like every time I go in the store, I'm like, okay, what can we do? I'm just a really busy person, so I love it. But at that time of opening the stores, it was a lot. And I was like, I don't know why I got myself into this. But now that they're up and running, we have 2 amazing teams, 2 amazing managers that run the stores. It's gotten a lot better as we've adjusted
And delegated.
and delegated, because that's the biggest thing is now I'm just managing, and that's amazing to just watch it succeed.
So how do you and Chad balance all of this while raising 3 kids? Like you
It's
guys
a
are running a
lot.
business together.
It's a
You're raising
lot.
3 kids. You have to go to market. How do you keep it balanced?
You know, I ask myself the same thing. We literally just work day by day. We have a little calendar in our house, and I was looking at it today, and it's just like, our kids are in so many sports and so many activities because that's how I am. And I'm like, you have to be in everything. We kind of pride ourselves because we don't have a nanny, and we just juggle it.
So you just swap. Okay, I'm going to go work. You
I think
got
it
the kids.
helps that we're both in One Love Babe, so we both work at home. And it also depends on the week. Some weeks are psycho, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but it always works out. And even if that means holding off my emails until bedtime, I do that a lot, where I'll be answering emails at 11, laying in my bed. But
like, okay,
we
getting
just
till
make
it's-
it work.
How old's your oldest?
He's 10,
10. And then
Yeah.
your youngest?
is 4.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
are you done or do you
Yeah,
want more? Okay.
we're done.
And is it?
Boy, boy, girl.
Oh,
Yeah, we got our girl. So we're like, we're good.
We're good.
yes.
No more.
I feel this even just with the podcast. We've had other business ventures, like the mom guilt of it all.
Oh, 1,000%. It's so bad. It's on the daily.
Because you just
Yeah.
feel like it's never enough. Or
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, I want to be this person that you aspire to. And when you're older, you can see that I worked so hard for our family or I followed my dreams.
Yep.
But then on the daily, even today, it's like, I miss dinner, I miss bedtime.
Yep.
And then you feel it.
Yeah. I would say that's probably the hardest part of it. And Chad doesn't get it. I don't understand why guys don't
I
get
know.
it. Don't get the dad guilt or whatever.
Yeah.
And even today I was laying in my bed working on a reel, and Nova runs up to me and she's like, come play. And I'm like, I just have to finish working. And I think that's what's hard because I work at home and they think I can just always play or always be there. But sometimes I do have to separate myself and get work done. But especially traveling or when I go into the warehouse or go into the stores, opening the stores when I was gone a lot, you feel really bad for missing it. But that's where Chad is really good and is like, don't let that bother you. He's like, we probably spend more time with our children than most parents. A lot of kids go to daycare, and he's like, do not do that to yourself. I'm with them. Like Chad is, if I'm not with them, Chad's with them.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
like
that
they're
definitely helps, that knowing at least one parent is with them. But it definitely doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah. Do you have work hours where you're like, hey, from this time to this time, I need to be, or is it really just?
No, I always tell myself I need to be better at not working, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I just work when I can.
Well, I feel like that's just the stage of life too,
Yeah.
where it's if your kids need you, you're going to be with them.
Yeah.
And if you have to email at 11 p.m., you're just trying to balance it. Are your oldest 2 in school?
Yeah. So that definitely helps.
Yeah. And then your youngest is 4. Are they going in next year to kindergarten or?
She'll do one more year of preschool. So she goes to preschool 2 days a week. And so when she goes in, I'm like, okay, get as much work done as I can. But I feel like for the most part, I'm pretty good to be present when they're around. It's hard when you work from your phone because it's so easy to check my emails, and I do all my work from my phone pretty much. So I need to be better at, okay, I'm not working. But at the same time, I tell myself, I'm like, that's what's amazing about this business is I can work wherever and be accessible wherever.
There's way more pros.
For sure.
So many. And
Yeah.
especially that Chad's in it with you.
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure.
Do you have advice? Any of those little things that you can just calm my fears where I'm just like,
Of the mom guilt.
or just the balance of it all?
I like to tell myself, okay, I may not be there for certain times or I may be traveling, but I would like to think that my kids see how hard I'm working, and that's setting a good work ethic for them and showing them that I'm chasing my dreams too. And that's okay. It's okay if she's gone for 2 days or whatever. She's working hard and hustling so we can live a great life. And I hope that's paving the way, I guess, to show them that they could do the same if they ever have that desire to do something like that.
Yes, totally.
And it
It's
adds
hard.
so much to you as a person too. Like you're so
Yeah.
much more of a full person because you have things outside of your kids as well.
For sure.
So when you come back to them, you're more fulfilled and you're more energized, and
Yeah.
I just think overall, especially as they get older, they'll see this person
100%.
who
Yeah.
has so much more to offer than just being their mom. I don't know.
And on a day-to-day basis, obviously being home, you get burnt out. So it is really nice to have an out. And the days where I'm grumpy, I'll just be like, Chad, I need to go to the warehouse. I need to get out. And even just popping in, being there for an hour, talking to other adults and working. It's crazy how I feel like it makes me almost a better mom because I
Totally.
have my outlet. It's something I love and I'm obsessed with, and it's something I get to work on. But then I come home and I'm like, okay, I'm recharged.
And then
I
you
can be a mom
cherish
again.
those moments more,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, this bedtime is
Yeah.
so sweet because I've been gone, or
Yes.
because it's not getting so redundant.
Yeah.
So what do you do for yourself? You're working, you're a mom, there's so much. What's your passions outside of that?
Obviously working out, that's something I've developed over the years, that I've kind of found my passion through it. I've found that that's my time to just focus not only on my physical health, but it's so beneficial to my mental health. It helps me just release any stress. And I'm like, okay, I'll be at the gym for 1 hour. I'll put my phone on do not disturb. No one can contact me. And I just focus on myself. I feel like once I found my love for working out, that has definitely helped my
Yeah.
mental health a lot.
Totally. What's your relationship with working out right now? Is that going to the gym? Is that going to a class?
Yeah, right now I have 3 gym memberships.
We love that.
It's fine, but the funny thing is I use them all for different times. My schedule is so busy, so I just do whatever I can. So I go to the bearded trainer. He has set classes, so if I can make it to a class, that's probably my top priority. And then if I can't make it to a class, but I have to bring Nova, I'll go up to the rec and just do my own workout, but I can put her in kid care, which is nice because she loves it. And then I have a Vasa membership too that I'll occasionally use too.
I
So,
love that.
Yeah.
How has your mental health been through this journey? Is there ups and downs?
Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah. I wish I could say I was very stable. It's definitely improved over the years, especially at the beginning days. I feel like I was all over the place. I finally have come to terms. I feel like it's really hard as a business owner to focus so much on the numbers. And so I would find myself on a really bad selling day. I would let that affect my mental health. I'd be like, oh, it's a bad selling day. This is the worst day. And don't get me wrong, I still have days like that because it's my baby and I just want it to succeed. But I'm to the point now where I try to not let it affect me as much if we are having an off week or whatever. But it's definitely improved over the years, especially now that I have more employees, more help. Chad's full in it. I have way more help versus years ago. It was a lot of pressure on me.
And you're literally having babies and dealing with all of those hormones and
Oh, yeah.
emotions and
Yes.
postpartum,
Yeah.
probably in the heart of the business when it was so much on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Breastfeeding. Nova wouldn't take a bottle, so I'd have to take her to market. And it's just juggling motherhood and work was a lot, but it's definitely improved.
Yeah. And you feel like working out's been really kind of that.
Yes.
When was that? I was telling Sammy this. I've struggled with my mental health through the years. And one thing I have noticed, which I hate, is working out does help.
Yeah.
And I want it not to because I don't love working out.
Yeah. I would just say find something that you do love. Like for me, I started to get into it by just going to High Fitness. I found a group of girls that I love to work out with, found a teacher, and as long as I can get there, I'll be fine.
But you're also so athletic. That's the thing.
Grew up like that. So that definitely helps. But definitely explore your options. I've been all over the place. I've tried all the classes.
Yes.
And I have finally found what I love. And that's more just strength training and weightlifting. And I found something about just lifting heavy weights is such a stress reliever. You're just like, oh, this is a bad day. Okay, I'm going to take it out on weights. I'm going to go do some pull-ups. I'm going to just pound it out.
Yes. Wait, I love that.
Yeah.
What about friendships? Have you been able to develop friendships through this? Have you lost friends? How has that been?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a pretty social person. I feel like I have my good circle that's been pretty constant through the years, but especially as we're married, we have our friend couples that we've had for years that are solid. I've lost some friendships along the way too, which is sad and hard to navigate, especially losing friendships as an adult is weird.
Because it feels like a breakup and you're just like,
Yes.
I don't know.
You're like,
but you
wait,
don't want to
this
have
is
this
weird.
dramatic conversation. But
Yeah, definitely weird. But I feel really grateful to have a solid few group of friends that I'm close with. We travel with and are with each other like every other night. It's so fun.
Wait, how do you have time to do all of this?
I know.
Like,
I just don't sleep a lot. It's fine.
No, but you literally will be like, I want to go to California tomorrow. I'm going to California tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or go do the trips or go get the concert tickets.
Yeah.
Which I love that. I love
Yeah.
that you live your life like that because especially with so much on your plate and then you still prioritize having fun.
We're very spontaneous, especially with just working so much. That's how I live. I just need the fun aspect.
but I feel like looking back on it all, you're going to be like, I did it all.
Yeah.
I followed my dreams. I loved my kids. I had my friends. I went on the trips. I went to the concerts.
Yeah.
You're doing it all.
Yeah. At least we're trying to.
You're doing a great job. So you posted earlier this year that 2025 is the year of health and growth.
Yes.
Obviously, you've been into fitness most of your life and things. You're freaking fit and hot. Like you always have been, but you can tell you've hit your stride with fitness, but also with health. And you had posted a little bit about breast cancer awareness and getting a mastectomy.
Yeah.
Take us back to the beginning of that. How did that start? I know you have some family history of it, right?
So my grandma was in her 30s. She got breast cancer, went away, came back in her 60s. She ended up passing from it. And then a few years ago, my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer in one side. And then she was like in her early mid 30s. And when she was diagnosed, all my sisters were like, we need to get mammograms. We need to be on it early, considering we have high risk, 2 family members with it. Yeah. So I went and did a mammogram right after she was diagnosed. And they told me that I do have really dense tissue. So I've had to do ultrasounds to just check that tissue. So that's always been on the back of my mind of just like, okay, I need to do these every year. Well, last year I was going to Disneyland and I was with Nova and I gave Chad a hug and my boob hurt. And I was like, that was a really interesting pain.
It wasn't like,
it wasn't a tender,
pain.
yeah, it wasn't period pain. You know, they get sore tender. It was like, oh, that actually kind of hurt. And it was in one distinct spot. And I was like, Chad, that didn't feel normal. And so we went to Disneyland. He immediately called. I think by the time I got on the airplane, he's like, you're booked for a mammogram right when you get home. Like, you have to go get this checked. He is literally the best. So I come home, go right to a mammogram, and they're like, yeah, you have a weird spot on your left breast. You need to go get an ultrasound. And that just led to another, go and do an ultrasound. They're like, you need to go do an MRI. And I'm like, oh, okay, go do an MRI. And they're like, oh, you're fine. It's just really dense tissue. Well, in that same time, Chad's like, obviously it's your body. Maybe you should consider doing a mastectomy. Let's just look into it. Let's just see what the options are. And we'll just get all the knowledge we can about it and see if this is something you want to do. And so he had found someone in Dallas who had the top of the notch, the newest technology of mastectomies. And the crazy thing is I called the doctor. It's called a robotic nipple sparing mastectomy. It's like new.
Okay.
So I called the doctor and they're like, okay, we can see you in 2 months on June 10th. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's meant to be because I'm going to Dallas Market on June 11th. I'm literally going to be in Dallas and the market center is right next to the hospital.
Wow.
So I was like, I will fly in a day early, go see them, just see what she thinks. She can look at all my scans, see if I would benefit from this or what. So we go. She was amazing. I loved her. The sad thing is my insurance wouldn't cover it out there. But she looked at my scans and she's like, I think you should go do a biopsy. You need to do a biopsy on that spot. And I was like, really? Because all the doctors in Utah told me I didn't need to. And she's like, you need to. I'm like, okay.
I'm scared.
So I come back home to Utah, do a biopsy on the spot. It was an MRI guided biopsy.
So they biopsy that tissue, go in there, cut it out, and test it.
It was the worst doctor appointment I've ever
That
been to.
sounds horrible.
So you're laying down, face down on an MRI. They pull you into the machine, pull you back out, put the needle all the way through your boob, which, you could feel it all. So they go in and numb the spot. Then they pull you back into the machine. So this whole in and out process just makes you really nauseous because you're face down and can't see and you're going into the machine. It's horrible. So then they pull you back out and do the biopsy, which it sounds like you're at a dental office getting drilled, but it's your skin.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
they do the biopsy, pull it out, and I sit up and the table is just covered in blood. And I see it and I'm just like, I'm not well. I was about to pass out. So they hurry and rush me to a room and give me apple juice. Anyways, that was the process of the biopsy. And that few days of waiting to know if it's cancer or not was horrible. Yeah. I was not okay. I'm literally waiting for a phone call to hear if I have cancer or not. And within that time frame, I was just like, I can't live my life like this. Mm-hmm. They told me that I would have to do MRIs and ultrasounds every 6 months, basically the rest of my life, to watch the spots that I have, because they said I do have them on my right side as well. So they're like, okay, 6 months, you have to come in and do this every time. And I'm like, okay, so I have to do a biopsy every time too, that when they find stuff. And so that's when I just told Chad, I was like, I don't want to do this the rest of my life. I have a 40% chance of getting breast cancer. And every time I go through this, it's a waiting game of hearing if I have cancer or not. That's horrible. I'm 33.
Is this year going to be the year that I find out that I have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So luckily the results came back. They said it was benign. And I'm like, okay, I need to get them off. I just need all this tissue out. I can't live my life just waiting
to get this.
To get it. And that's the thing. I went to so many doctor's appointments trying to find a doctor that I really trusted. And the amount of conversations I had just questioning them, being like, do you think I should do this? Do you think this is silly? Do you think I would benefit from it? And basically everyone's like, you're basically a coin toss of having breast cancer. Okay. You are so high risk. Your sister's gotten it twice. Your grandma got it twice and then passed. They're like, it's just a waiting game. You already have iffy spots. And the thing that really just told me I need to do it was, it's just tissue. It's just tissue. From the outside, no one will be able to tell. It will just look like I had a boob job. But in the end, it could literally save my life.
Yeah. And just the mental toll that's going to take for doing those 6 month scans.
Literally last week, I got in the mail, it's like, hey, you're due for your next MRI. And I'm like, I'm so glad I don't have to do this anymore because I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about all of this is we submitted to insurance. And they denied it. They said they will not cover it. But we fought them on it. And they
So why would they
it.
not cover it? Because it's preventative or?
Yeah, because I don't have cancer.
Okay.
Which is absolutely so stupid to me. It's like, you're going to wait until I have cancer to then have to pay you thousands and thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. So my doctor is amazing and fought it. He's like, I think I can code it in a way that they will cover it. And so it's a 3-part surgery. Because I'm doing it preventatively, this is the cool part about it. Normally, if you have cancer, they just go in, they take off the nipple, they take out everything. But since I don't have cancer, he's like, we can do it in a way where we preserve your nipple. They're actually doing nerve grafting. So my nerves will come back. So I'll still have filling. Whereas normal mastectomy, you don't have any filling.
Okay.
So I did the first surgery in January. Well, okay, I'll back up because this is kind of a cool part of the story. I was actually in Dallas at the Next apparel market in January.
Okay, so a year later.
Yeah, so like this past January. And we were still waiting to hear back from insurance. I had already scheduled the mastectomy for January. We're like, let's just put it on the books so we can submit to insurance. They're like, we'll probably have to cancel it because we're not going to hear back if they'll cover it or not. So I'm literally about to take off at the airport and I get a phone call from the doctor and they're like, you won't believe this, but your insurance is covering it. They're covering the breast lift, the first surgery.
Wow.
And I was like, what? They're like, we are shocked. Like, so you get to keep the surgery on Wednesday. And it was Friday. And I was like, so you're telling me my first surgery is on Wednesday? They're like, yeah, it's a miracle because that way doing it so soon, I can do all my surgeries in the same calendar year.
Wow.
So it's all covered. Yeah. Because each surgery you have to have healing time, 3 to 4 months. So you can fully recover.
And it's all in the same deductible and the same year. Amazing.
So the fact that I could do the first surgery in January is huge.
Gives it all the time.
Yeah. So that first surgery, it was just a breast lift. So because I had been pregnant and have lost from pregnancy to now, I've lost like 50 pounds. And so my boobs have fluctuated. So they've become really saggy. Basically, that first surgery is all cosmetic. It's like, let's get them placed. Let's place the nipple. Let's cut away all the extra skin. And then you'll heal from that. You have to do that surgery while you still have tissue. So it's set. So that was my first surgery.
And how did that go? How was your recovery from that?
At first, I thought it was really rough. But looking back, I'm like, oh, it actually wasn't that bad. I would say the first week was not fun. It was pretty painful. I mean, I have a lot of incisions. So they cut from all the way under the boob because they cut away so much skin and then up the boob and they moved the nipple. So it's a lot of incisions.
Yeah.
So that one was not fun. I couldn't lift anything over 15 pounds for 6 weeks.
Wow.
So it's like 7.5 each arm.
So no working out, really.
No working out.
No picking up
I
your
couldn't
kids.
lift Nova. I really couldn't do anything, which was hard because I'm such a busy person. So now I'm completely healed from that. I felt like overall it was amazing. If you need a breast lift, I would recommend doing it.
Oh, so
It's
they
amazing.
look a lot better.
Oh, they look amazing. Yeah. And they're just lifted and set. Do I really want to cut these off now?
Yeah. So you do the first one. That's first of 3. So what
Yeah.
are the next 2 and what's that process like?
So technically I could do the mastectomy in May this month. Like May 27th is when they wanted to do it. But I didn't love the idea of doing it right when all my kids come home from school and just going into summer and not being able to do anything.
Yeah.
And so I pushed it back till August 20th will be the big surgery. That's the biggest one. Basically, they go in through the same incisions, which is cool because
You won't have
I won't have any more scars.
Okay, that's so nice.
So they'll go in through there and take out all the tissue. So that includes like all up here, even into your back. Everything is out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that tissue is very specific tissue where the cancer would grow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they take out, they're doing nipple sparing. So there might still be a little tissue around the nipple.
Okay.
So you still have to do mammograms and stuff just to be safe. But it's pretty cool. They can keep the nipple and everything.
Yes. Because usually what do? They just have it tattooed on or
Like normally, if you have cancer, they go and just do it straight across the boob and take out the nipple. And then people will choose to go get tattoos or just leave it.
So then what about the third surgery? What is the third surgery
So the third
do?
one is the roughest recovery. They say it's about a month until you're feeling good. And then you just need that healing time before the next surgery. They put drains in your body. So when you take tissue out of your body will replace it with fluid. And so they put these drains in so it will drain all that fluid that's going into your body. And then once that liquid stops filling up, they take out the drains and then you just recover. So they put in an expander at that appointment too. So
like kind of an implant?
yeah,
or?
it's kind of like a pouch that's empty.
Okay.
So they'll put that in and then I go weekly to fill it up with saline. So you have a port up here and they'll put an injection through and just fill it up until it's the size you want. So that's what's kind of cool about it is like,
interesting.
I still don't know what size I want to be because I've been from a C all the way to an H.
Literally,
my boobs were an H when I was pregnant. So I'm like, I've been all the sizes. So now I'm like, okay, what size do I want to be? But that's what's cool about doing it this way is they just fill it up weekly until it's the size I want.
Yeah.
And then we go in December. I already have all the surgeries planned. They go in and do the implant surgery. So because you take out tissue up here, you have to actually do fat grafting too. So I'll do lipo as well at that appointment. And they'll go in and put the fat grafting up here. So it's just very natural looking. Otherwise, it'd be like concave and then an implant. So it's a lot. And that's my only goal this year is just surgery and heal. Surgery and heal. And I told Chad at the beginning of the year, I'm like, this is my year. And that's even what I said to my social media. I'm like, this is my year of just healing. It's just a year I'm taking off for myself. It's like people always say, would you die for your kids or whatever? And it's like, okay, but would you do what it took to live? And I think that's the biggest thing for me is, okay, this is my year to do everything I can to just prolong my life. I don't even know if I'll ever get cancer. It's a big risk, but it's one I'm not really willing to take. 1 in 8 women get it. And I already have 2 in my family that have gotten it. And if I can do it, and especially with my insurance covering it, I'm going to do it. It may be a rough year, but I know in the end it will be well worth it.
So true. Taking that step and doing the hard stuff to prolong your life and be here for your kids. Like I'll be so obviously happy that you did that.
Yeah.
And I think it will bring a lot of peace in the years coming. I've done everything I can. I was as preventative as I could be.
For sure.
I'll still check what tissues left and everything. So how, if someone doesn't have a family history of it, or if they don't know much about breast cancer, do you even know the recommendations or how people can even get on top of that?
Yeah, I think this is what's really frustrating to me, especially as I've dived into this topic. It's really hard to find people in my scenario who are choosing to do it because they don't have cancer, but they're choosing to do it. And that's why I've decided to be so open about it, because I wish I could find someone who's been like, this is why I'm doing this. From the very beginning, I was like, I'm going to just be open about it. I'm going to talk about it. And so I posted to my stories and have made some reels about it. But even just the little that I've talked about it, obviously I'll talk way more once I actually have my major surgery, but just the amount of people that have reached out and been like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to do this. I know I need to do this. My family history. I feel like if we could just get more people talking about it, it could honestly save so many lives. And it bothers me because they say you should get your first mammogram at 40. But my family alone, they got diagnosed in their 30s. And even to this day, I know so many people who have it. Within the last few months, I've known 2 more people that have gotten diagnosed.
Yeah.
And I feel like people need to start doing it sooner. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not in healthcare, but I'm like, it's just a simple
So what is it? Because when I get my yearly checks, they feel my breasts, make sure that it feels okay. That's not.
I don't really technically know the difference between that versus a mammogram is an actual screening of it. They squish your boob into this machine and it scans it all. So it can actually see the tissue. But I feel like as long as you're at least doing physical exams, that's probably at least the most important. Self-exams. And while you're in the shower, while you're washing your body, just rub your boobs. If you notice any
lumps
or any
soreness or that weird
like the weird time
pain.
I gave Chad a hug, just be aware of that and don't brush it aside. I feel like your mental intuition can say a lot. And I feel like if you just don't brush it off and actually listen to it, I think that's super powerful too.
Yeah, I hear stories like that. It takes an instance like that to realize that you have breast cancer, and I need to go get a scan because I've never even thought about it. But you think, okay, when I'm 40, you always just think you're too young. Right? Am I at this stage in my life where I need to start caring about these things or advocating for myself and my health? Like going to multiple doctors. Because if you would have just been like, okay, just taking it from one of those doctors, they're like, oh, I don't need to do anything. I'm good.
I know. And that's what's crazy, because the mass that they took the biopsy from was an inch. It's like directly behind my nipple, and it's like this big. And I'm like, how would I feel that? Because it's right in the dead center of all my tissue. I would have no idea.
Well, and just the fact that you're having those masses and things like that, I think you're definitely doing the right thing.
Yeah.
There is so much power in sharing because unless you're going through something that's not on your mind, all it takes is you sharing your story for someone to go get checked, and then they find it and catch it, and it's huge.
I do feel really grateful at the same time because people are like, how are you able to do that? But I'm just really grateful that Chad and I do work together and we're at home, because most people, if they have jobs or whatever, it's like, how do you take off time for 3 big surgeries in a year? How do you find childcare? But the fact that we're working together and we're at home makes it so much easier for my scenario to just do it.
Are you having to delegate more with the business?
With that surgery, I told my team, I was like, I will definitely be taking a couple weeks off at least to just recover from that. But yes, for sure, I'll definitely have to. I literally go to market and then I get home and the next day I have the surgery. So I'll be working up until literally hours before the surgery. And knowing me, I'll probably still work from my bed, but I feel like, especially having a big surgery like this, I need to be better at delegating and being like, I need to let myself recover from this and
mentally recover. Really meeting that head on. Like, this is a lot.
I know. And sometimes I think about it and I kind of get emotional about it because it's kind of sad to say bye to your boobs.
No, it's so
like
emotional.
A part of yourself. It's part of your feminism. Like, if they fed my children. Yes. I don't know. I feel like as it's approaching, I have time to process it. It's a lot to process, but I think in the end, just telling myself it will be worth it. In the end, it could save my life and the tissue doesn't matter.
Yeah. And doing it in those phases will help kind of just slowly process it.
Yeah.
Each step at a time.
For sure.
Get to a new place with it.
How's your sister doing?
She's good. She just had her second full reconstruction on her other side, and she just finished her chemo and radiation. So
it's so personal to you too, probably because you see exactly what.
Yes. Well, I was taking her to chemo one day, driving her, and I told her that I was contemplating doing it, and she's like, you should just do it. You do not ever want to go through this because chemo just makes you so sick. And she's like, just do it. And I think hearing it and like seeing the side effects from her and going and visiting her, I was just like, I can't go through that. My life is so important to me and I have so much to live for, my children, my business, my husband, all the things. And if I can do anything to prevent that, I'm going to at least try and go for it.
Totally.
So, was it your mom's mom who passed from it or your dad's mom?
My dad's mom.
Your dad's mom. Okay. And so all your sisters are getting checked and...
I mean, I'd like to think
You'd
so.
hope that they would.
I know I've been the one that's like most worried about it, which is funny because I'm the youngest sister. Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, you guys need to get checked.
Yeah. I love that you're bringing awareness to it and sharing about it because I think that really will help a lot of people.
I hope so.
Is there a community within that you're finding posting about it?
Honestly, I haven't found that yet.
Okay.
I've had a few people, like my TikTok is so tiny because I don't really post on it, but even just my 100 followers on TikTok, I had people DM me and be like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this too. And I feel like, especially as I go into my mastectomy, I'll be able to find connection with people.
Well, even just like we've been saying, you sharing it will probably get people thinking about it.
Because then they go search it and they come across your videos and the whys of you doing it.
Well, and even just on my Instagram alone, I've had random people I don't even know be like, oh my gosh, I just came across your video and I had that done. So then I would ask her questions about like, okay, what was your experience like? What would you recommend? And even just the few people I talked to, it was so helpful. So that's one thing I'm really pushing for is I want to be that for other people. If people go through this, that they know they can come to me and be like, okay, what do you recommend? What? And even just at the gym, a few people have come up to me and be like, I am high risk too. I know I need to do it, but it's scary. And I'm like, I know where you're coming from. I'm scared too, but you got to do it. If it's going to just save your life, just do it. And especially once you're high risk, you can fight insurance. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is you can get insurance to cover it. They might deny it the first time, but you just sit and fight it. Show them your statistics. Show them your family members that have it.
Yeah.
And
advocate for yourself.
Yeah. Don't give up. Just keep pushing.
So 2025 is the year of healing. What about 2026? Have you thought much? Once I get through this, I'm planning this vacation or I'm doing this thing.
You know, I haven't thought that far in advance. I would like to think that maybe we'll have another store in the works.
Yeah.
For 2026. That's maybe my goal. Even if it's not official or like this is where we're opening, but at least in the talks with
Like
malls.
the
and
year
stuff.
of growth for One Love Babe.
Yeah.
And expanding those
Yeah.
out.
I've had people ask me, be like, what are your goals? And I'm like, honestly, this year is just about myself. I'm being selfish.
Good. You should.
And as long as I can get
Well,
through
it's
this
weird
year.
because you're not being selfish.
Yeah, you're kind of being
Yeah.
selfless. You're actually putting that aside for something bigger.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll take care of myself. So then next year we can go full force and just keep growing.
So how do you define success today? Looking back, especially over the last 10 years, how would you define that today?
Honestly, I feel really proud for how far I've come, just to look back and be like, I started this. And to see we now employ all women, over 50 employees. And that's something that I started. I feel like that brings me so much joy that I can provide jobs and opportunity and relationships, and seeing my teams, they've all become friends, and just providing that for people. And not only that, providing cute clothing and providing plus size clothing to people who have never been able to find cute boutique clothing for 6X, like that is where I find
That's
success.
the thing is you think back to when you were postpartum and hating all the clothes on you and find, like, oh, I'm breastfeeding, but this shows my arms and I'm self-conscious about that is huge for women. And that is something that can really up your confidence and up your quality of life.
Sure. And the amount of reviews we get coming from plus size people who are like, you have no idea how bad we need this. The fact that a boutique is really pushing on plus size is amazing. So that is what really brings me true success, is we're helping all these people. We're helping the community. I'm doing something that fills my cup and brings me joy. And in the end, that's what brings me happiness. So.
Yeah, totally. What advice would you give someone that's wanting to start something new or start a business or whatever it is? Like, what advice would you give?
I would just say do it. I personally know how scary it is to put yourself out there. You guys know starting something new is scary. People are going to judge you. And I think just tell yourself it doesn't matter what people think. That's what I've had tell me like all the time over and over again, is like, people can judge all they want. They can say mean things, but in the end, do what makes you happy. Find something that is your true passion that you are obsessed with and just run with it. And I feel like that has worked for me.
Can you think, looking back on the business, can you pinpoint your biggest failure or like what you would have done differently?
Oh, failure.
Or what's your relationship with failure like?
The thing about me is I'm a very much trial and error type of person. So I wouldn't ever really say I have a huge setback or a big failure, because I'm the type that's like, oh, if this isn't working, okay, what are we going to do? Let's fix it. Stop doing that. Let's find something that does work. Even if that means changing your mind 10 times, it doesn't matter. Just keep changing it until it works. And that's one thing that me and Chatter, we talk about this often. Every day we'd be like, okay, this isn't working. Especially back in the early days, we'd be like, okay, this doesn't work. What can we do? Let's brainstorm ideas until it does work. Okay, once it does work, let's roll with it. And then once that stops working, let's pivot and go somewhere else. It's like working in the social media industry. You're constantly pivoting,
You're kind of trying to hit a moving target always.
Yeah, it's like now they do Reels. Okay, now I have to learn Reels and I have to put myself out there and learn how to do that. Okay, now there's TikTok. Now I have to learn how to do. It's constantly changing. And I think just going with the flow, I think, is the biggest thing for me. Don't be set in your ways, but be open to change has been super helpful for me. And just be like, okay, if this is the new way of Instagram, we're going to go with it.
That's huge. I think just listening to you, it's almost like you're not even learning these things. It's in you, where I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to change. I'm going to pivot. And I feel like a lot of people have to learn that, where it's not a failure. It's one step closer to what it needs to be.
Yeah. And I think just telling yourself, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Just keep changing until it does. Even if it takes you 5 years or whatever, if it's something you're truly passionate about, you'll find the motivation to keep going and finding what works until it does work.
Have there been moments where it's not so much a passion anymore, but work?
For sure. Yeah. There's been countless times where it's late at night and I'm like, why am I doing this? It's taken over my life. Literally, it's my baby. And some days I'm like, imagine life without it. If I didn't have to be always on my phone or always buying clothes or whatever. Honestly, I think the biggest thing for me, the best piece of advice I've ever gotten to this day, and I tell this to all my employees, is whenever I get like that or I feel really burnt out or I have a ton on my plate, the biggest thing is I need to hire. And I need to delegate more. So to this day, I tell all my managers, I tell my team, when you feel burnt out and you want to quit and you just can't do it anymore, that's a sign you need to take stuff off your plate, unload, so you can find ways to grow. And that's something my father-in-law gave me that advice literally when we used to live in his basement 9 years ago. And that has just stuck with me. And I feel like that has helped me get to where I am today. Every time where I'm super overwhelmed, it's because I have too much on my plate. Pawn it off, focus, regroup on myself. I can take some of it back if I'm feeling like it. If not, let them handle it or hire and just have more help. That's helped me a lot.
That's such good advice.
Do you feel like you ever get in ruts where your creativity stops flowing?
Yes.
Where you're like, I don't even know what's cute anymore. I don't even know. How do you get out of those ruts? How do you get those creative juices start flowing again?
Yeah.
Do you ever just maybe take a break from it and come back to
For
it?
sure. Yes. Yeah. Especially if there's certain trends that I'm not into and I'm like, ugh, why is this a trend? I hate this.
Yeah, because
It
you
makes
probably
me
have
not
to
wanna
do that
buy
a
it.
lot. Where you're like,
Oh, yeah.
this will sell, but it doesn't
But I
mean
don't
like
want it. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. Now I'm to the point where I buy stuff that I'm not obsessed with, but that body sells well for us. Like I know it sells well, so I have to buy it. But yeah, all the time. If I am in a creative rut, especially when it comes to designing, I feel like it happens a lot when I go to market. I get super overwhelmed with the selections and having to pick and be like, this is what I'm going to carry for all the stores. It's a lot. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, take a break. I'm done. So
Let's go
I'll
grab lunch.
Yeah, we'll literally be in a meeting and I'll turn to Chad or my team and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. We need to stop. We need to pivot from clothing and we need to go focus on shoes or we need to go focus on accessories or whatever it is. But I think setting those boundaries for myself and not forcing myself when I am in a rut is what helps me get through it. I know I can't do it anymore. It's okay. I'll come back when I can. And that's helped me a ton.
Because then you have fresh eyes and
Yeah.
you can.
That's my body's way of being like, okay, you're done. Your mental capacity has hit its limit.
Do you feel like the boutique industry has changed a lot? I feel like now fast fashion is so in right now, and it's like, I want it cheap, I want it fast, and I want.
Yeah.
Because even 9 years ago, I feel like it was very much like, I want this unique piece. What's that been like for you in the business?
I would say it's still definitely fast fashion, especially buying wholesale. It's very much like what's trending right now. This is what's trending. Get this right now for this season. Oh, and then the next season it will change. And I love it and I hate it. I love really trendy things. And that's one thing with One Love Babe is I've gone all in on the leopard right now and all in on bows and gingham. Like that's what's trending right now. But then it's the worst as soon as that fast fashion stops. Because then you're stuck with that inventory. So it's finding that balance of, okay, how much do I buy? Because I don't want to be stuck with inventory once that fad is over. So that's definitely been the learning curve with the fast fashion. But then that's where having my designs is really nice because I don't really do fast fashion in that. And that's something that's more stable that I can sell year after year. So a lot of my designs I've had for years. And I just keep recutting them because they just sell year round. And it's nice to have a combo.
So looking back, if you were to tell your younger self, this is where I'm at right now, what would that little Melanie be like so surprised about?
I think she would just be so surprised at how much we've grown and where we've gotten. Like the fact that I used to work at the mall that I now have a store at is wild. If you were to tell me when I was piercing ears at icing that I would have a store just around the corner, I would have never believed you. And it's still mind-boggling when I walk past icing and I'm like, I can't believe I used to be here. It's so crazy. But I would tell myself, you can do hard things. I think people underestimate themselves of how capable they are of doing hard things and putting yourself in situations to grow. And that may be uncomfortable, but if you truly want it and you're motivated enough, you can do it. The amount of times that I've just wanted to be like, I'm done, especially when it was slow and I'm like, why am I doing this? But if you really want it and just keep pushing for it, you can do it.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
It's wild. It's weird how fast it's gone.
But I really
I'm
feel like
excited
it's
to see where
just
we
the
go.
beginning.
Well, and it's crazy because we did hit that big milestone of opening our first brick and mortar, 2 of them now. And it's like, okay, now what's next? I feel like we just hit that next milestone of now it's just more growth. So that's
Do you
really
have,
fun.
so kind of more stores is really
Yeah.
where you see?
Yeah,
Because you love the brick and mortar?
I do. I actually love it. I love having this space that you come into and it's my baby. Online, it's like, I don't know, there's something about just walking into a store and you're like, oh my gosh, it's
Does it
so
feel more
cute.
real?
Yeah. And as far as buyers go, customers, it's like,
It's a vibe you
It's a vibe.
feel when you walk in there and you
Yeah.
like connect to that feeling of the environment and
Yeah.
then buying cute clothes and wanting to feel cute and wanting to
Yep.
feel good.
well, and just the difference between having something online, don't get me wrong, I love online, but there's something different about having it on a model versus in a store. You can just show your creativity a little bit differently, which is fun. Obviously, you have creativity with photo shoots, but there's something about merchandising, which is so satisfying to me. If you go into my store, we color coordinate and our tables, it's all just aesthetically pleasing.
And is that your design idea? Like,
Yeah.
I want this. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're like, I want the store to look like this. And then
Yeah.
the managers are enforcing that.
Yeah, it kind of goes both ways. I'll leave it pretty much up to them, but obviously they'll send me pictures and I'll be like, oh, let's change this or let's have this color theme up here. But for the most part, we've trained them to the point where they kind of take the reins on it, which is nice. That's something I've kind of delegated and I've taught them how to do it. It's taken merchandising meetings and whatnot, but it's fun to also see my teams get obsessed with it too. Because it's so fun. It's just making the store cute and girly and aesthetically pleasing.
Where's your dream location? Like your absolute dream? Anywhere.
You know, this may be dumb, but I feel like I already have it. University Place.
Really? Because it's your mall. It's
my
literally your mall.
I literally grew up going there, and we actually tried for a couple years to get into there, and it's not easy. You do a lot of negotiating, a lot of conversations. It took us 2 years, I think, to finally get in. So the fact that we got it, I'm like, this is my baby. Like, this is my hometown. I go into my store and I see people I know, which is so fun. I'm like, oh my gosh, hi.
It's me.
Yeah. Versus St. George, I go down there and I'm like, I don't know anyone down here. Obviously, I'm obsessed with that store, but there's something about having it in my hometown where it's like,
It could be the biggest, coolest mall, but the
It's
mall
just,
that
like,
you used to
my
frequent.
roots.
Yeah.
Like
that is
you
your roots.
piercing ears to the now having the
yeah,
that's-
my parents live 10 minutes from there. We live 10 minutes from there. And I love that I can just pop in whenever. That's just right there.
Do you?
I
Or,
do.
like,
I was there yesterday. Yeah. Whenever I'm just like, I need out, I'll just go up there. And some nights I'm like, I just need to be creative. I just want to go up and just merchandise a little and I'll go in at night or after hours or whatever. But it's kind of nice. It's on my own time frame. It's not like a scheduled job, but I can go in and try on some clothes if I want. I can shop or I can work and I can check people out or whatever.
Do you just have
That's fun.
so many clothes?
Yeah, it's bad. Too many.
Are you good at getting rid of
yes.
stuff? Okay.
Only because I have to, because my closet is so small. I have the saddest closet. Our house is a decent size, but whoever designed our house, the master bedroom is tiny. So I've actually taken over our guest bedroom upstairs closet.
I was
So
going to say, you knock out one of the kids' rooms
I
and make this
know.
is mom's closet.
That's our next project. I'm like, okay, how can we remodel to give me a bigger closet? Because it's really sad. But at the same time, I tell myself it's probably good I don't have a huge closet because then it'd be hard for me to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
I would just keep adding.
Totally.
So because it is so small, I'll take whatever season we're not in and move it to the other room. So then it's just that season.
So it'll be coming up on summer. And
Yeah.
you'll have all the cute summer
Well,
stuff.
and you have a literal store at the University Mall.
You're just like,
that can be your closet.
Yeah, like yesterday, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving with all these. Okay, bye.
Literally, yeah.
It's so fun. It's a lot of fun.
okay, Melanie, well, I'm so happy you came on and
thanks for
shared your
having me.
story.
It
And your
was so
advice
fun.
was amazing.
Thank you.
and I feel like I can go do anything.
I know. I'm
can.
like, okay, let's
Look at you
grind.
guys. You literally have.
I'm like, just stick to
I'm
this
so proud.
podcast. Even if
Seriously.
it fails, we'll just do it.
No, No, you guys
so
are
long.
amazing. This is so cool.
Yes.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes,
Yeah,
thanks
of
so
course.
much, Melanie. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you next week.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.